Okay, the helper springs showed up. The Tuf Truck 2 times or 50% times stiffer spring. I'm going to try and install those this evening. The XHD's rear coils for the Dodge Ram 1500. Hopefully they go in easily. We'll find out. And hopefully it straightens out the back end of this thing. Okay, I just got off of the top of the Palomino. I used some silicone sealant around all the existing seals to help kind of seal any cracks. There was some, weather cracking in that sealant. The sealant's probably like this thick, or I guess the band of sealant all the way around any of the orifices, like windows and stuff, is pretty wide. So I just went through and filled up any cracks, and then along the edges with the clear silicone, and hopefully that at least extends the sealant's life for another little bit through the rainy season here. Got another storm that's supposed to show up tomorrow, so it could be kind of wet starting tonight. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to break in the weather right now and some extra time to seal it up, make sure it's ready for the coming storms. Next, I'm going to try and get under here with the jack and jack stands, lift it up, and then see if I can swing the axle far enough down to pull the existing springs out and then install the new springs. So, haven't tried it yet, but we'll see what happens. All right, so I've got jack stands on blocks that are tied up together with the trailer hitch. Should be strong enough. I might have to take the wheels off to get enough clearance, so we'll see. Because it's only about 4 inches off the ground, and I'm sure that transmission's gonna, or the axle's gonna drop pretty far. Let's find out. Yep, not enough clearance, so we'll get the lug nut. All right, yeah, get the driver, pull the wheels. Hopefully that'll decompress the axle far enough, or decompress the springs to drop the axle farther down. Projects. Spark plug sockets, 3/4 inch lug nut wrench. The right tools for the job make the job so much easier. Springs are still quasi-compressed. I'm worried that if I drop it down any further, might come in contact with the floor. Might not be far enough in the back here. Time to consult some expertise. So I've got 2 sets of jack stands right here. I'm swapping out this more powerful jack for the other one, I think. And then 2 jack stands supporting that. Wheels are off, so this is not the most comfortable situation to have a new vehicle in, just hanging out on blocks, but try and get it done sooner than later. If this doesn't work, then I'll have to put everything back together and figure out a way to get it up higher, like a proper lift.
1,500 pounds. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4 teeth here. 1, 2, 3. I think my jack actually goes lower than yours. It does, yeah. I like your tire. Thank you for letting me use it.
Alright, so I still need to get a little bit more pull out of it. Ended up putting a forward jack stand and then these 2 rear ones, and that's enough to hopefully fully articulate this rear axle. So looks like we haven't been riding on the bump stops too much. That's good. So I'm going to disconnect the sway bar right here and then reconnect it here. Glad I removed the tires. It just makes life a lot easier getting in here to do what I need to do. Whew, a lot of work. Okay, I got the sway bar disconnected up top. We'll lower it down and hopefully be able to pull that stock spring out and replace it with the Tuf Truck 50% stiffer spring. Still in there too tight. I'm gonna have to get in and compress it either with some straps or pull the bolts out of the shock absorber and drop it the rest of the way. So I noticed a little bit of abrasion right here on the axle, top of the axle. And I'm assuming it's from when we get articulation left and right. It's coming in contact with the strut tower ever so slightly. So hopefully these springs solve that issue. But I am going to just spray it with some Rust-Oleum so that it doesn't want to rust or anything like that. Like, I just don't want a bunch of rust on the axle. If I can avoid it, keep this thing as new as possible for as long as possible. That should be good. We'll do the other side after I install the spring so I don't get wet paint all over myself. Are easier to install than they are to remove. I hope that these are the proper springs. I talked to the manufacturer, I talked to one of the engineers and asked them specifically, hey, will this fit on the 2019? They said, yep. So here we go. I'm going to compress the springs and the axle and then reattach the sway bar connection points back to the frame on both sides and then start putting everything back together. Hopefully it's all set. This one's a bit misaligned, so I'm gonna drop the axle down a little bit and try and straighten her out. Driver's side looks good. Okay, moment of truth. I'm gonna jack it up, pull out the front jack stands, the rear jack stands, and set her down on the ground. Hopefully everything goes as planned. Hard to tell if it's right or not right now. I'm gonna have to kind of compare and contrast in daylight, but just looking at it from right now, it looks back to stock right light, and that's a good thing. Tuf Truck springs, so far so good. It looks a lot more proper than what it was before. It looks a lot flatter. Before it was kind of wet. So we'll see how it all sets up and performs. I'm gonna spend the next little bit cleaning up. Appreciate you guys watching. If you like what you see, you know, there's gonna be more of this, so throw it in the comments, subscribe, like, do all those wonderful things. It helps me in knowing how to steer the page and what kind of content to make. But this is all an experiment. I really have not the best expertise. I'm just kind of making it up as I go, and this is a win. It was totally just roll the dice and see what happens. So we'll see how it all drives with the new springs on. Hopefully they're not totally defunct. I did keep the stock springs, so I'll do a update video regarding how much better the improvement is, or if it's not improved at all, or what. So time will tell, but I can already tell it's higher, which is good. That's what I wanted. I wanted it back to stock ride height for clearance reasons, for headlights, all of it. So I'm gonna clean up. This is Rick from Left Coast Overland, and thank you for watching. I really appreciate all y'all out there. Keep up the good work. Have a good night. It's official. Got a decal. Thanks, Von Luke, man. That came out awesome. Push these air bubbles out. We'll be in business. Later, guys.